Yeah, where's my farmer's only profile? No one gave me the password to it. How am I supposed to meet farm girls? Is this currently in this current form? Is this toast, or is this just bread?
4, 3, 2, 1. Wait, that's not. There it is. Shot me. If I could drop my mic, I would drop my mic. Oh! No, he got me. Oh, baby!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the OP Seed Video Podcast. I'm your host, Droopy Jors, the social media director for OP Seed. We created this podcast to introduce you to successful gamers who have used various strategies to build personal brands and make profit with them. Please make sure to like and subscribe wherever you enjoy your live streams or your podcasts. Today, we are joined by a Twitch partner and streamer, CrucianGaming. Thank you for joining us today.
Oh, no problem. My pleasure.
We're happy to have you here, and for those that may not know, what would most people recognize you for?
Usually playing Star Citizen. Yeah.
So, how much time would you say you've poured into Star Citizen, and could you give us a little bit more background on the game itself for those who have maybe not played it?
So Star Citizen is a space and sci-fi sandbox MMO. It's supposed to be a very real game. There's permadeath. You can travel thousands of miles in game, and it it's usually like 30 minutes in real time. So it's a very a very high end sandbox MMO. So I've been streaming that for about, I would say, about 3 years now. I got into it. A buddy, one of my actual mods, came to me like, "Hey, you should try this on stream." So I actually started playing Star Citizen, tried it on stream, but back then it was still, it was in an alpha. It's still an alpha actually, but it was in an even earlier state of alpha. So all we had was a hangar. So all we could do in it is basically leave the hangar and fly around in the hangar, and that's it. But over the years, they, Robert Space Industries, or Cloud Imperium Games, who actually make Star Citizen, they kind of, put a big pedal, on the gas in the game, and it's been, you can now land on planets. You can now fly, I would say, about 50 different ships in the game currently. So it's become quite a game, and the content that people can make playing that game is pretty incredible. Like, we've had somebody make a Top Gun skit off of Star Citizen. We've seen people do machinima videos just by playing the game. Yes. So the game is evolving into something incredible. So he gave me a starter package, and from there on, since, I play it quite often. Sometimes there's patches that are not in our favor for content creation. So sometimes I'll take a break and then I'll come back to it once the patches are a little better. Because sometimes alpha, obviously it comes with a lot of bugs. It comes with a lot of things that will kind of make you upset when you're playing the game over time. So you kind of just tend to take a break and then come back to it whenever the game is stable and ready to go again in that alpha period that they're in.
That definitely makes sense, and it sounds like truly they're trying to give you a limitless amount of opportunities. So one of the mods from your channel actually gave you boost to get it going. But how did your online content creation begin before that?
So before that, I was in the Navy for 8 years, and while I was in the Navy, I was living in San Diego, and I was watching all these streamers, mainly World of Warcraft.
Okay.
I would watch streamers like Swifty and Bajera, and I was like, man, everybody's going to BlizzCon. So I kind of gathered up the money, went to BlizzCon my first year, and then I kind of it was funny because I wasn't even on Twitch. I only had a small account, and I went to the Twitch partner party early, and kind of argued my way in a little bit. So I
What was-
kind of and I was like, I'm supposed to be on that list, joking around, and they still let me in, and then that happened, and I got to meet actually Swifty and Bajera, and they told me, hey man, I mean, if you want to stream, go for it. So from there on, after that BlizzCon, I had a great time. Met some of my favorite streamers that kind of got me started. Went home, built a PC, got 3 monitors, and basically I started streaming, games like World of Warcraft and Hearthstone, and then Heroes of the Storm. I was a big Blizzard fan back then. I'm still am now, but I mostly play like Star Citizen and like Dota Underlords lately. I haven't really been doing any of the Blizzard games then, but that's what got me started. Um, I created a pretty awesome community, but the issue always is that if you're not consistent in streaming, things kind of go up and down. So I would literally build this was back in 2014. I would build a pretty awesome community, and then I would go on a deployment or go on like a 3-week out to sea period, and then I would come back, and then I would lose I would say about 70% of my viewers. So that was always a big hit. But in 2016, I transitioned to shore duty, and I took on not only working full time, I took content creation on full time, and that's when I started. I got into Overwatch. I got into Friends and Family because I met some people at BlizzCon. They got me into Friends and Family. I played a bunch of Overwatch, and then that's when Overwatch went into a stop during beta. That's when I started playing Star Citizen, and I would do so much stuff in Star Citizen, dog fighting. You could basically anything you can think of in that game, you can literally do. So, there's no limit to what you can do in Star Citizen. Obviously, it's an alpha, so there is a limit. But when the game is fully released, whenever that is, there will be no limit to what you can do. But that's mainly where I, how I got started streaming, and about the timeline when I started getting into Star Citizen.
That's actually incredible. You don't typically hear a story of, I went to BlizzCon. I argued your way into the partner party, and then you basically got the go ahead from some of the people who have been doing it for years. And you went home and you built your PC and set everything up. That's not something a lot of people typically do, and that's actually really admirable and really cool in the streaming space. It's just like, I'm gonna go all full force and we're gonna do it. And it's nice.
I basically went all in basically at that point. I was like, this is something I would love to do, and I knew I was gonna have a passion for it. So I was like, I'm just gonna go all in off the bat. So that's why I bought all that stuff.
There you go. And with that being like, I mean, you've been streaming for plenty of years at this point. So what can you tell me about, the journey from like the first time you went live to where you are now? Have you made a lot of changes to your channel, or has it mainly just been making a lot of changes to the games that you've played?
Actually both. From the beginning I started streaming, obviously you're gonna start streaming and only having basically no viewership, but I talked myself. I learned how to talk a lot on stream. My wife would watch me upstairs while I'm downstairs streaming, and it was like that literally for 3 to 4 months until I started using things like Twitter or using the trade chat in World of Warcraft.
There you go.
So I started using all kinds of marketing styles that I could do to kind of bring me viewers, so I can build that community, and sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, but after like 3 to 4 months, I grew. It was like 25 viewers. A year in, it was like 50, 75. And it kept growing, but unfortunately, when it stopped, it was from 2014 to 2000. The end of 2015, around October, is when I had to go on a South American deployment, and I was a really big Heroes of the Storm streamer. But by the time I went on that 5 to 6 month deployment around South America, I came back. The meta changed. There's like seven to 10 different characters. So when I came back, everything was kind of fell apart. So I came back and I was like, you know what? Let's do this all over again. And I kind of grinded again when I got into that friends and family for Overwatch. I kind of grinded that all over again and then built my community all over again. And I was doing fantastic. And then that's what I got into Star Citizen. The channel was growing immensely, and it was a blessing, man. But like I always tell people, if you guys need to be consistent, all right, don't always do this because you're looking for a paycheck. It doesn't work like that. It's streaming is this is coming from a person that's been in the military for years. Streaming to me is just as hard and stressful as being in the military because you know, a lot of people worry about numbers, about their viewership, about am I getting enough subscriptions per day and all that stuff. So it is very hard, but I went from literally having 0 viewers to averaging what I average now, which, you know, I'm comfortable with and I'm happy with, and my community really enjoys, you know, having each other. A lot of people know each other. I've known each other for like I've known my viewers, some viewers for like probably like 3+ years. I help anybody that I can. So, you know, I really use streaming now as a platform to help people and just have a tight knit community right now. So
That's extremely admirable. And then so one thing that we did when we built the podcast is we did it to be able to help people. So to have you on the podcast and having described, you know, the way you want to help other people and, you know, kind of get a solid footing, you know, platform is really, really cool. And it's a take that I haven't typically heard, that, you know, hard as being in the military due to mental taxation. But it is something that not a lot of people think about, is that you're constantly looking at yourself. Because, I mean, some people can take it personally. When they look at the numbers, it's a direct reflection of maybe how they view or the channel.
yeah, exactly.
So seeing people recognize that is actually really cool. So did you typically always see this as just like a creative outlet, instead of making it like a bigger, more profitable business?
So I was I got out of the Navy a year and a half ago in 2018 of March. I actually was doing streaming full time. Actually, as soon as I got out, I went straight to PAX East. Um, Obviously, you want to go to these conventions, kind of market yourself, meet developers, meet community managers, which is the most important thing. You know, because obviously when you're emailing people, it's great to always email someone and be like, hey, you know, me and you have been emailing back and forth. You think you can help me out, you know? But it's always great to meet these people and put a face on that email so they can feel, so they can kind of feel more comfortable and figure out like who you are as a person. So, you know, but when went to PAX East, and then when I came back with a few sponsors. They really enjoyed my enthusiasm about streaming, my goals, and everything. And you know, from there on, it was a full-time grind. I was doing 50 to 70 hours a week streaming until those same people that sponsored me asked me, "Hey, would you like to start doing some events?" I was like, "What do you mean events?" It was Astro Gaming. They're like, "Would you like to work some events?" I was like, "Sure, I'll work some events." So I mean, I started, you know, working with Astro, getting my foot in the industry, in the gaming industry, and I do events now. I basically mainly set up for events, run the booth, whatever they need me to do, and while I do that, I can actually go and still market myself as a streamer whenever I have, you know, my off time, obviously. But I can still, you know, go talk to these different developers and go talk to these different community managers to help me kind of, you know, keep growing my channel the way I want it to. So.
It's really nice that you can use both of these, you know, in tandem, basically going out and marketing at the booths and then streaming when you get home. Something we would like to ask is, would you say being live on your channel and just streaming pushes your career further, or the connections that you've made with these companies?
I feel like the connections that I made with these companies have pushed my career further. I feel like me turning on my stream every day, I think I've already passed that phase where I have that same base community that comes to me. Doesn't matter if I take a week off or a month off. I feel like they're still gonna be there, no matter what, for me. So I feel like my growth has been more in the past year or so about working relationships with companies as well. So
That's awesome. It's really nice to be able to have that home base of people that you have. And with basically the audience that you have that always comes back and supports you, would you say they impact the games that you play or what you do on stream?
Um, so whenever I switch games, and I think I skipped over that earlier. So I do switch games oftenly. And most of them are I would say about 80% of my base doesn't really care what I play. We literally, I can have a conversation about water on my stream for 30 minutes because that's like I keep I keep being, how do you say it? I forgot the word for it. I keep being as wow, I forgot my words here. Interactive. There you go.
There you go.
I try to be as interactive as I can with my community, no matter what it is. Whether we talk about food, whether we talk about anything silly about their day, about what I did this weekend, I always try to bring them into my world and talk to them about all that stuff. So that way they're not there for the game. They're mostly there to hear me talk about either my day or something funny that happened on stream, or talk about their day and how maybe, I literally give advice on stream, but I won't go into depth of advice. I'll just give them like, hey man, just keep your head up. Don't worry about it. You'll get it next time. So whatever people come in and talk to me about, I kind of elevate that and I take it for minutes and minutes on, so they can stay, so they can stay entertained, and they don't have to worry about what game I'm playing.
That is definitely, one thing that a lot of people look for when looking for a streamer is just pure engagement with the streamer. Yes. Especially with communities that are switching directories. Besides engagement, would you have any tips for streamers that might also be wanting to switch directories or to be a variety streamer?
There's Twitch is actually not the same as back then. Obviously Twitch and any other platform is becoming, bigger and bigger every single day. And what I always tell people is, look where you're at in your average viewers. It's always good to play a game that's kind of relates to the main game you're playing. So if I'm playing Star Citizen right now, Rebel Galaxy looks pretty fun. So that would be something that you'll kind of switch to. So my advice would be try to switch to something that's kind of relevant of what you're playing. So that way you're not always, because a lot of people get tired of their main game all the time. So so try to switch to something that's relevant. And if not, just try to find something within the directory that you will have fun playing, that will kind of, give you that can kind of, agree with your average viewership. So say if you have an average viewership of 50, this is as an example, and say you're playing Dota, and Dota is obviously a lot of people watch it, and then you want to start playing, let's give you another moment, League of Legends. So say you average 50 viewers and you kind of want to start playing League of Legends, but your viewers only like Dota. So what I would do is look in the directory. I see Dota has this amount of viewers that is being watched. Where do I land with 50 average viewers? Do I land on the top 20? Do I land on the bottom 20? So you kind of find your place within the directory, because if you're in the bottom lower 20, not many people are going to find your channel. But now if you're on the top 20, people are going to start finding your channel. So like I said, look at your average viewers, go into the directory, see what you would like to play for fun, and just have a good time with it, and see if you'll land on that top 20, and see if you stream it a few times in that week in between or after your main game, and see if you're attracting newer viewers for that new game that you're switching to. So that's how I have been kind of finding my success in trying to find new viewers and new people within Twitch. So
it's definitely great words of advice right there, because a lot of Twitch discoverability, so you just want to put yourself in the best position to move forward.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know that you said that Twitch, it's not the same as it was years ago when you started. Kind of curious, what's your opinion on the current state of streaming as a profession?
The current state of streaming as a profession right now, it's if let's say if you want to start streaming and you think you're gonna make a living off of it, that's kind of not the greatest mindset to have. Twitch is becoming more and more competitive every day, and in my honest opinion, I feel like they don't have the discoverability tools there yet in order to for people that don't have a massive amounts of viewers to be found. So it's to me it's getting a lot more competitive, unless you are, I'm gonna be honest, a pro player, or somebody that just won basically the Fortnite World Cup.
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna kind of attract to you. So unless you do something incredible that where people can attract to you, it's gonna be very hard for people to kind of get on that stepping stone to start streaming and getting to where to where they want to be. So my advice on that is just like, I always look at the directory, see where I can start, and see from where I can go. Say if I started in a certain directory, like I would say like Final Fantasy 14 is a great directory, or mobile games is actually a fantastic directory where a lot of people don't play. Games like Epic 7 or Clash Royale, like a lot of people don't play those games, and most people are always on their phone playing. So a lot of people don't know, but mobiles is a great directory for you to kind of get your start, and then just whenever you get a chance, just switch off. But it's definitely changed, man. It's more competitive. It's harder to get discovered. It's everything's a lot harder on Twitch. In terms of like marketing yourself and trying to get more viewers in your channel. So you have to do something unique. You have to do something very unique. Have a great personality. Make people laugh every single second. And just make great content. A lot of people don't do this very much, but while you're on Twitch, make some highlights, put them on YouTube as well. YouTube is a great way for people to discover you, even though YouTube's algorithms change all the time. But the more platforms you use, the more people can find you, and the better your turnout would be, in my opinion. So.
Exactly. Nowadays, you kind of have to make your own discoverability.
Yep.
I mean, you have the platform on Twitch, but smartest move that I hear from a lot of streamers is to, upload to Instagram, upload to, even TikTok these days. People are using to bring in viewers. But it's everything from, making sure that Twitter, you're relevant on Twitter, things like that. So if those aren't things that you're doing currently, we highly recommend doing that.
Yes.
And just outside of, Twitch in general, what do you think about, the platform and a lot of like competitors like Mixer, YouTube Gaming recently with a lot of the waters being shaken? What are kind of your thoughts on people switching over to Mixer?
I think to be honest, I love competition.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Mixer is doing fantastic to kind of keep their base very happy. They're always making changes to make things better. I think they're going in the right direction. With all that stuff. So, with Ninja just currently moving over to Mixer, that's gonna be that kind of rattled the cage, and in my opinion, is gonna wake Twitch up and be like, oh, we just lost our biggest creator to our competition. What can we do to make sure that doesn't happen with the rest of the guys? So I think that they're going to be coming out with tools in the future, or even maybe announce around TwitchCon, in order to make sure that they keep their content creators and that doesn't occur again. But also, I have a friend that went from Twitch to Facebook Gaming, and he has been doing fantastic. There's definitely Facebook Gaming does need to kind of catch up with the rest of Mixer and Twitch. But I think there is still a great platform. And then I haven't really messed around with YouTube Gaming at all. So I'm not really like too sure about that platform. I just feel like I'm watching a live feed on a normal YouTube video. I would like to see something separate from YouTube that that has its own its own thing than just than just making it look like you're just watching a YouTube video that's not live, basically. So but yeah, I think right now Twitch and Mixer are still the top platforms right now, and I think Mixer is it's gonna be up and coming, and if they they put in the right moves and the right play, I think it could be just as good as Twitch or even better.
Definitely. And just for those who might be listening, maybe some people might not have the ability to, I mean, when you got your started streaming on Twitch, maybe they don't have the ability to go out and buy a computer or build one and, get their whole streaming setup ready to go. What's one thing you think people should focus on most? Like one piece of equipment they should focus on first, like audio, their camera, or something to stream a
Um,
game at better FPS?
so for streaming, wait, all something I really always upgrade is quality. I do not like having my quality being a very low quality. I always have my streams at 1080p, 60 FPS, and I have a really low preset, so everything looks very, very crisp. But obviously, that's gonna have you need a better computer. So the next thing that I would actually aim for, if you don't have the quality that you want, I mean, it's very easy for people to stream 720p, 60 FPS, and still play games on, at the same time. So the next factor would be audio. Make sure you have your audio is crisp. There's very, very, very cheap cameras that are made. Hopefully I can say this, but Audio Technica,
Mm-hmm.
Blue Mics, they have pretty good quality microphones that you can actually use, and your audio can be very, very, very good. So you don't have to put too much of an expense on audio for it to be good. All you gotta do is just know what you're doing and have the right equipment. But if it's not quality is always my first. It would be audio, would be second, and then from there on, third will be like kind of like my setup. But I think audio is very important. But I like I said, quality. If you can't, build a monster PC, don't worry about it. It's not really a big deal. I would make sure I concentrate on audio and giving my viewers, my audience, when I talk, very clear, crisp sound. So
Definitely. As you know, most people, you can have people just listening to your voice the entire time, like a podcast while you're at work.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
Definitely important because audio can be offensive if it's basically, I call it, offensive audio, like if you're peaking or anything like that, which definitely look up how to have some proper audio. But over the years with you streaming, were there any milestones that you really were able to celebrate that made you realize that you could stream full time? Was there any like aha moment of like I can do this, be a full time streamer?
there was a lot of milestones. I think the experience over the years of um like, remember when I said I would literally grow a community, then go on
Yeah.
deployment, come back, and I would be, I would lose about 80% of these guys. I Every time I would leave and come back, I would get a lot of new people in. So that kind of gave me the motivation, be like, look, man, if I can go on a deployment or go on a underway for 3 months or and come back and still build my community, that made me feel like I can do this full time, no problem. So when I went to shore duty in 2016 and I was doing full time work and then full time streaming, I was hitting these subscriber milestones at the time that kind of just, I had extra money. I would always upgrade my equipment. I would always upgrade my graphics on my stream. And I said to myself, hey, I'm gonna, this Navy thing's getting stressful for me. I love streaming. I've been helping people all around the world. People always ask me for advice on Discord. Like, people would always come to me if they needed anything, and I was always take my time out of the day to be like, hey, I got you, man. Just take it easy, stuff like that, and help these people out in whatever issues they have. So, I think whenever I was hitting those subscriber milestones and keeping those, like not losing much, I think that's when I was like, yeah, I can probably do this full time because, like I didn't need I didn't need millions of dollars to keep myself happy. I just needed a certain amount, and with that certain amount, I could keep myself afloat, no problem. I could keep me and my family afloat, not with no problem at all. So I
That's
think that was the biggest milestone that kind of like gave me the, oh, I could do this full time. So
definitely, as you know, sometimes it's even hard to build your first community, but to do it repeatedly,
yes,
that's incredible and actually awe inspiring, especially for the platform. So many people, as you say, it's be pretty competitive out there. Do it in so many different directories, so many different.
yeah, that's
Amazing.
what I was saying. Like, for people to find you now is actually hard. So every time like I go to an event for a week, unfortunately, I have the blessing of some sponsors that I can have a laptop to stream from my hotel room, and I do. But I won't play something that that will eat up my bandwidth or my graphics card. I'll play like a mobile game, or I'll play something that they can still know that, hey, I'm live. I'm still alive. I'm live, and without leaving much of a gap in between, so that way they still know that I'm here and that I'll stream for them no matter what. So
Incredible.
yep.
And I know that you talked about going to a lot of different events and working with Astro and being at booths and things like that. Are you planning on heading to any other events where people might be able to come to meet you or say hello?
Yeah, so I will be next week. It's Call of Duty Championship. I will be there. That's going to be in LA, and then after that, I'm going to be in PAX West, which will be in Seattle, and then right after PAX West, I actually super excited for this. For the first time, I will be going to Tokyo Game Show.
Oh, that would
So
be fun.
yeah, so once PAX West is over, I'll be flying to Japan, kind of enjoying myself for like a week, and then going to Tokyo Game Show and kind of experiencing that for the first time. So I'm super excited. So anybody is ever in these shows, whether it's Call of Duty Champs, PAX West, or Tokyo Game Show, and I'm very open with my community. If they love to beat me, just let me know. Sometimes I'll get people passes if they want to go. It really all depends on on whether we have them or not. So, but if anybody would like to come hang out or have dinner, any of my viewers or new viewers, I mean, I would love to hang out. So
That's incredible. We wish you the safest travels, especially on that flight all the way to going to Japan for Tokyo Game Show. That sounds like an amazing opportunity, and we're very, very happy for you. Also, out of curiosity, through all the equipment that you've always upgraded for your setup and everything like that, we're always curious. What's your favorite peripheral? Something that helps you do what you do best.
This is a peripheral that just came out. I believe it was this year, if I'm not mistaken, or no, it was last year. But it made my life a lot easier. It made my desk very uncluttered, and I'm gonna have to go with the Go XLR because this thing really I have a 2 PC setup, and it really saved me so much time, so much money in putting it in my setup. And I didn't need a mixer, I didn't need a transformer, I didn't need an equalizer, I didn't need all these things. I just needed one equipment. It helped me clear my desk. I have more space. It made me so much happier. So I think that's my most favorite peripheral, other than my headset, obviously. So
There you go. Well, do you have any places on the internet or any channels that you might have where people can learn to maybe learn more about what you do?
Yeah. You guys can find me at twitch.tv/CrucianGaming. That's CRUCIAN gaming. Twitter.com/CrucianGaming, or you can jump on my Discord and chat with me. Discord.gg/CrucianGaming. And if you have any questions, please feel free, come by, hang out. Say hello, post a meme in the meme channel. Have a good time.
Well, it has been an honor. Thank you so much for joining us on the OPC Video Podcast.
Thank you, Drew. I appreciate it, man.
It's been wonderful. I've enjoyed being able to hear more about you, and then I'm really excited about all the trips that you get to go on, and I'd love to be able to see them on the Twitter feed and everything like that.
But yes, I will have them on the Twitter feed. So
there we go.
Very important to interact with everybody if I can stream. So yeah.
And I'll probably see you over at PAX West, and then are you going to TwitchCon?
Unfortunately, I will not be at TwitchCon, sadly. I had plans to go, but something else came up, and I unfortunately cannot miss. So,
well, I might see you at PAX West, but again, thank you so much for being on the OPC Video Podcast. Have an amazing day, and enjoy the games, enjoy the travel, enjoy the flights, and enjoy all the people that you get to meet doing what you do. Thank you.
All right, man. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it, Drew.